Have you ever noticed that whenever people talk about moving to the UK, the conversation almost always starts with London? And honestly, I understand why. London is famous, it's the city in the films, TV shows, travel guides, social media. But after living in Britain for almost a decade, studying here, working here, and watching Manchester change year after year, I genuinely think there is another city that deserves a lot more attention. Before anyone gets upset in the comments, I'm not saying Manchester is perfect, and I'm definitely not saying everyone should move here. Every city has pros and cons, but if you're trying to decide where to study, where to work, where to build a career, or simply where you might want to build a life in the UK, I think Manchester deserves a serious look. So today I want to share 10 reasons why so many people are considering Manchester as their chosen city, and why, after almost 9 years living in Manchester, I think Manchester might be one of the best cities in the country right now. So let's start with what I think is probably the biggest reason. And that's not football or nightlife or music. It's the fact that many people feel they can actually build a life here. When people move to a city, they're not just choosing a place to sleep, they're choosing their future. They're choosing where they will work, where they will meet other people, where they'll spend their weekends, potentially where they will stay for years. So one thing I've noticed is that Manchester often gives people a really good balance. For example, if you're a young professional sharing a flat in the city centre, you might pay around £700 to £900 a month for a room. But in London, a similar setup could easily cost you £1,200 or £1,500 a month. Now, yes, London salaries are often higher. A software engineer, for example, in Manchester might earn around 50 to 65k. In London, that would be like 70,000 or even more. But what I've noticed is that people here often seem to have more breathing room. They can afford to go out, they can travel, they can have hobbies, they can save money. They don't feel like every financial decision revolves around rent. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that quality of life isn't just about earning the highest salary possible. It's about creating a life that you actually enjoy living. And for many people, Manchester offers that balance. A lot of people still think all the opportunities are in London. That might have been true a few years ago, but Manchester has become one of the UK's biggest economic success stories. As someone working in technology myself, this is something I've seen firsthand. The city has become a major hub for software engineering, data analytics, finance, healthcare, media and digital businesses. Large companies continue opening offices here. Startups continue growing here. And if you search LinkedIn right now, you'll see thousands of opportunities across different industries. One thing I like is that Manchester feels ambitious. You can feel that people are building things here, new businesses, new developments, new careers. And for people looking to grow professionally, that's incredibly attractive. So this is probably one of the biggest changes I've noticed over the years. When I first came to Britain, Manchester felt very different. Today, every time I go into the city centre, it feels like something new is being built. New apartment buildings, new restaurants, new office spaces, new neighbourhoods, new cafes, restaurants. Sometimes it feels like there are cranes literally everywhere. And whether you like construction or not, what it tells you is that people are investing in the city. Businesses are investing, developers are investing, universities are investing, people are moving here. And that's usually a sign that a city is moving in the right direction. This is something I personally love. Manchester feels like a major city. There's always something happening. Restaurants, events, concerts, markets, sports, festivals. Yet at the same time, it doesn't feel overwhelming. You can still walk around the city centre relatively easily. You don't spend your entire life commuting. You can meet friends after work without planning it 3 weeks in advance. It feels large enough to be exciting, but small enough to be manageable. And honestly, I think that's one of Manchester's secret strengths. As someone who moved to UK from another country, this point matters to me a lot. Manchester is one of the most diverse cities in the UK. You hear different languages everywhere, different accents. You meet people from all over the world. You can find food from literally every culture. When you are moving countries, that makes a huge difference. Relocating isn't just about finding a job, it's about finding a place where you feel comfortable, a place where you feel accepted. And I've always found Manchester to be a welcoming city. People don't talk about this enough, but once you live somewhere long term, convenience becomes very important. Manchester Airport connects the north of England directly to Europe, North America and the Middle East, and many other destinations. I honestly don't think people appreciate how useful this is until they need it. Whether you're visiting family, traveling for work, or going on holiday, having a major international airport nearby makes life much easier. If you're choosing a city to study in, Manchester should absolutely be on your list. The University of Manchester is constantly ranked among the top universities in the world and is often around, I think, 6th nationally depending on the ranking system. What impresses me more is the history. This is a university associated with more than 25 Nobel Prize winners. The atom was first split in Manchester. Graphene was discovered here, which later led to a Nobel Prize. Alan Turing worked in Manchester and helped shape the future of computing. And even Benedict Cumberbatch studied here before becoming one of the most recognizable actors in the world. So when students move to Manchester, they're not just choosing a university, they're becoming part of a city with an incredible history of innovation, research and creativity. One thing I absolutely love about Manchester is its location. Within a relatively short journey, you can find yourself in the Peak District. You can explore beautiful villages, you can go hiking, you can spend a weekend in the countryside, and then on Monday, you're back in the city centre having coffee before work. That combination is surprisingly rare. So whether you enjoy food, music, sport, cafes, shopping or cultural events, Manchester has plenty happening. The city has an incredible music history, the restaurant scene keeps growing, the cafe culture is fantastic, and one thing I've noticed is that you never really run out of places to explore. Even after years of living here, I'm still discovering new places. And this is probably the most important reason of all. The older I get, the more I realize that choosing a city isn't about finding the most exciting place. It's about finding a place where you can actually build the life you want. A place where you can actually grow your career, build friendships, enjoy your weekends, travel, save money, maybe buy a home one day, maybe you start a family. Maybe you simply create a life that feels balanced and meaningful. And after nearly a decade living in Britain, Manchester is one of the few cities that I think offers a really strong combination of opportunity, affordability, convenience, and quality of life. Now, of course, this is just my experience. You might completely disagree with it, and that's okay. But if you're considering moving to the UK, choosing a university, or relocating from another British city, I genuinely think Manchester deserves a place on your shortlist. And if you're interested in the practical side of living here, make sure you subscribe, because my next video is going to be a full breakdown of the cost of living in Manchester. So I'm going to be talking about rent, transport, groceries, salaries, bills, what life actually costs in 2026. And if you already live in Manchester, let me know in the comments. Do you agree with these reasons, or did I miss something? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!